Hello again, everyone. Tim here, timscomputerfix.net. Got another laptop here for you. This is one of the newer model HPs. This is a model HP. This is model 15-DY1032WM. And I've started to tear into this, and I figured I'd stop back up a little bit and just let you know what we're doing here. This has a cracked screen, and don't know, you can kind of see some of the, I don't have to turn it on to show you. Anyways, this is a fairly newer model at the time of this video, so they're starting to do screens different on laptops. So I just want to kind of show everybody the new way they're installing screens and how fun it is as a technician to replace these now. Disregard this. Basically, I had to take the bezel off, right? And that's common with, that is, a common thing to have to do to remove screens off of laptops. So you're going to need a tool similar to this, all right? And basically this bezel is taped down to the top lid and around the screen. So you're going to have to kind of pry and move your pry tool. This is Adhesive flat tool, and kind of work your way around to loosen up that adhesive this way too. Stay away from the camera area, that because you could damage that. So you basically just want to kind of loosen the tape. Then you kind of get your hands, work your hands in underneath the bezel and start prying out. And the same thing down the sides here. You run your tool down the sides. You can see the tape there. Just run your tool down the sides gently, and kind of use your hands to slowly pry this off. And just be careful around these edges here, because this is a common place where this bezel will crack or come apart. So once you have this off like so, it comes out like this, and then you're stuck down here at this bottom part, which is around this clutch cover here. And this clutch cover unsnaps from this bottom. It pulls away, you just unsnap it, and then you have to try to work your way around of trying to remove this bezel from behind that clutch cover. Now you will have to work your tool in behind here too, because you can see this glue and see how it's pulling on the screen cover. So there's lots of not glue, but it's tape, but lots of tape to work with there. So you got to kind of take your time and work your tool in between the bezel and that tape here. Once you get it fully loose, then you can start working this bezel out. You may have to fight with it a little bit, play with it, but it will end up coming out like that. So we can set this aside. Now, here's where things get interesting on these. Usually there's a couple of screws, which there are here, which we will take out. And then usually the screen lays back, and maybe there's some screws down the side or at the bottom. The newer models now are stopping to do that. They're trying to get it as thin as possible. So they've done away with, these thick edges where they have screws that hold in these screens. So they've done away with that. So what we're going to have to do now is this is actually, unfortunately, held in. This is adhered to the top lid. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to remove these two screws to start with. So let's do that now. Okay, so it's not even budging. You're not even going to be able to pull this screen out at all, even without removing those two screws. See there? You can pry it all you want to. It is adhered to, the screen is adhered to the top lid. So since this is all taped and adhered, a lot of people will make the mistake, or techs will make the mistake of maybe trying to use a heat gun and trying to heat this up to loosen the tape or glue or whatever that's behind this screen. And we've all attempted that once or twice, I'm sure. If this was your first time and you haven't caught a video like this, I've done it, and I know other techs that have done it. We've tried to pull and pry that off, and it ends up bending the top lid and all that. Is real pain. There's a way to do this, and basically what it is if you look right here, you'll see a little bit of tape sticking out. This is black tape that's kind of sticking out right here. You'll see it right there, and you'll also see it right here on both sides. Now sometimes you'll see it at the bottom, which you can see a little bit. I don't think this is meant to go from the bottom, but there's black tape there, very hard to see, and there's black tape here. So basically this black tape runs from here behind the screen and runs all the way down to here, and that's what that adheres to. So what we have to do is we have to pull this tape. Now this is a bit of a tricky thing to do. Yeah, see, I'm going to try to pull this out. There we go. So there's a piece of it right there. See how I have it here like that? So I'm going to pull on that, okay? I'm going to pull up on this. So what we don't want to do is pull really hard, really fast. We want to be slow and methodical. Pull this up. And even as you go, we want to take a pry tool. You see it's already come a little loose. We want to kind of give it some help, pry it out, and keep pulling this tape up. Okay, we'll keep pulling it up, and I'm prying outwards on the screen a little bit so I don't want to pop it. The last thing you want to do is pop this. So we'll pull it up nice and even, and you can see the screen separating from the back lid, from the top lid there, and just go nice and easy with it. A little more, a little more. We're almost there. Okay, and then that's the end of it. So that's it. Now you can see that this display is now loose on this side. Let's go to this other side. There we go. Pull it out enough. All right. And then we just start pulling up on that side. I'll take my pry tool. Let's just get it out some. Nice. Oh no! See, that's what we don't want to do. Yeah, that's a problem. So now that just happened. So what are we going to do now? Well, let me show you what we're going to do. You see, this is why I keep it real, guys, because that will happen. That's why you got to be very careful, which I was. So I've gotten, you know, this part of the screen loose. That's not going to be enough, I don't think, for me to grab that tape that's still on there. I don't think I can. Let's see. Maybe. I can see a little bit of it. That's going to be quite the job of trying to pull that where I can grab it. Ooh, I got it. I got it. I just don't know how long I can hold that. It's coming up though. Nice and easy. Let me open this up a little bit. Take the tension off. See if I can work that out a little bit more. Look at there. It's coming. It's coming out now. See? So you have to find a way. You don't want to pop it because that could be, you know, cause you more headaches. But this is coming out now. Here we go. Nice and easy. Here we go. See, I'm going nice and slow. I'm kind of prying out on the screen as I go, as I pull this tape out. Okay. Not done yet. We're close. Here we go. So now the screen is loose from the top lid. And we can just kind of lay that back nice and gentle. And there's our connector here. Oh, lovely. They love to take that. But you can see here where that tape was. Right down here. So when we put the screen back, we're going to adhere it back sort of the best we can. You can see the reason why. You can see how thin now these screens are. So they're getting thinner and thinner as we go through the generations. And let's get this tape off of here. Gosh, they want to make sure that that cable's not going to go anywhere, aren't they? Okay. Notice how it's kind of sticking to the top a little bit because of the tape. There we go. It's out. Pay close attention to be sure that the cable is still routed where it needs to be when we put the new screen in. But now what I'm going to do is run this number here on my vendor to match up a screen, and we'll get a new screen in and then we'll install it. Okay, we now have our new screen here. So now we're just going to get the ribbon cable plugged back in. Holding your tongue right to do it at this angle. Just want to make sure she's in there all the way. She looks like she is. No, a little bit more here to get. There we go. It snapped in. I felt it. So we'll worry about the tape here only after we test this screen. We probably do want to go ahead and do those. Remove these tabs. There's two more on this other side here. So that way, I'll lean this back. Now we can test this before we fully assemble it. Okay, we got it plugged in. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And that's good, but now I got the logo. As you can see, we have the login screen here. Let's see if the touch works. And the touch does work. So we'll shut this down now. And we will continue. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put down some protective foam to protect this screen because I have to lay it back down again. Nice and easy. Okay, now let's sort out this tape issue here, or this tape situation. Just kind of straighten it out a little bit. Just going to use this just a bit of a heat tape here to hold that down a little better, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Right, then we can bring this tape up here and kind of dress it out a little bit. That's good enough. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some 3M tape to kind of take the place of what was originally on these sides here. So this is double-sided tape, 3M. I'll have a link to these tapes down below in the video description. Start up on one side and slowly apply it right around the area where the previous tape was. Cut it. All right. That's that. We'll do the same thing to this side. You can kind of push it, move it around a little bit if it starts to go a little crooked on you, just to kind of guide it. Just be sure to run your fingers, keep it tight, and run your fingers up and down to be sure it sticks properly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the backing. That side. Here's that side. Okay, now we're just going to kind of lean this screen up against the bottom hinge area a little bit where it's resting on there. We're just going to kind of just sort of rest it into place. Okay, so what we want to do now is kind of check down here to be sure those cables look like they're routed neatly. And that does look pretty good. So I would just take something like this and just gently press the edges where we applied the tape, just to be sure it's sticking to them well. We'll just apply not that much pressure, just enough so we know that the tape is sticking to the back of the screen. There we go. Let's go ahead right here. We're going to run us a bit of tape along this area, because there was tape there previously. Just to kind of get it back how it was originally, the best we can. And I'm not going to take this off quite yet. I'm going to kind of get this into position. Now this is a little bit tricky here because they got these tabs, if you notice here on this bezel, that can kind of catch on this clutch cover here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try to line everything up here on the sides, and then we'll pull back on this clutch cover a little bit. I'm going to kind of work this down in behind the clutch cover. Okay, you will catch a little bit here, so I'm just going to pull this, if you can see that there. I'm going to pull this clutch cover out and push that tab down in there like that. That's a little better. And I'm going to work the rest of this in. Oh, it popped out, but that's okay. I'll just push it back down in there. That'll happen. And let me get the rest of this to try to work in here a little bit. Okay, that's in there. And then we got this in there. All right, and now we got this other lip here that's catching. So I'm going to pry back on that clutch cover as best I can. There we go. You see how that just kind of worked its way right in there. I got it, just kind of wiggled it in. So before I snap it, I'm going to go ahead and take my tweezers. And let's see if we can reach behind here and grab some of this tape, the backing here on this tape. Take it off like that. All right. We can go ahead and start snapping this down. Okay, then once we get down here to the bottom, I'm going to turn the laptop, and I'm going to use this hand behind it at the bottom, and I'm going to kind of push the bottom and try to get that to all snap in. And I got that tape too that's kind of helping it stick. Okay, then I got a little bit of a clutch cover gap here. I'm going to see if I can close that up, and that pushed in and snapped in just fine. It looks pretty good there. Looks pretty good. Let me close it. And let me check the back here. Oh, got a little gap right here. Let's go ahead and push that. Snap. There we go. All right. Let me raise this again. Have a look. Oh, look at there. I mean, this is almost perfect. Now we can just go ahead and test it one more time before we call the customer and let them know it's ready. Okay, we got her all plugged in now. Let's give her a test. Hit the power button. Got our HP logo. I think this one is a job well done. Once again, Tim with timscomputerfix.net. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps somebody out. Have a great YouTube day. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you head right down below here, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. That would be really awesome. I have much more computer repair videos coming your way. There's also a bell you can click for to get notifications for my videos. I really appreciate everybody's support. And as usual, everyone, until next time, see you soon.